Hey, what's going on, family? I pray y'all are still doing well and welcome back to another Real Talk video. Icy Mike, this is a video response back to you. I love your email, and you was asking me in the email, and I told you I was gonna do a video response back. Do I believe a lot of comedians are going to hell and their lifestyle? What are my thoughts? Very, very good question. First of all, when I look at comedians, you got the different type of comedians, right? Because you have the raw and uncut, like the Bernie Macs, the Richard Pryor, etc. And then you have Christian comedians. Now, the Bible is clear on laughter is good. It's good for the soul. But we got to realize also the Bible shows us what we feed into our mind. And it also talks about foolish talk, as Paul was talking about. And you as an individual in your spiritual discernment, Holy Spirit will show you what to listen to, what not to listen to, what to watch, what not to watch. And there are a lot of religious people. So we can truly say this, that a lot of comedians talk about religion. Very bad. A lot of comedians cuss, but a lot of them are not cursing. Catch that. Mouth is foul, yeah. Cussing but not cursing. And then you have had a few comedians that pretty much curse the Holy Spirit. And you ask the question, do I believe they're going to heaven? Only the Holy Spirit knows who's going where. When I think about, let me go old school, Richard Pryor, for example. Richard Pryor said a lot of foul stuff. He said a lot of foul stuff about God. And somebody may say, well, which God is he talking about? Well, if you ever watch Richard Pryor stand up, you should know which God he's talking about. But then you'll see other comedians that's raw and uncut. They would say cuss words, but they wouldn't dare curse God. And then there's a lot of truth in comedy. So we got to keep in mind that even through comedy, there's correction being said, even though it's funny. And you can realize that there's a lot of comedians that's real. You may not like their delivery, but that raw and uncutness, it was real and the truth was still there. And that's what I love is truth. Um, and then like I say, you see a lot of Christian comedians now, male and female, who are in churches doing stand up. But what's real and what's fake? Now, I'm gonna say this in a very, very respectful way. You talk about comedy and laughing, but how many jokes is inside of the church? I'm just being real. And I'm not talking about our buildings. See, people criticize the comedians and make it like every comedian is going to hell. But when you look inside of a lot of church buildings, I've heard I've heard more truth in some of these comedians than you hear from a preacher. I used to make a joke say if I want to see a clown show, I can go to church. I wasn't talking about everybody building. If I want to hear some realness, I'm gonna go listen to comedy. If I want to hear some joking and realness, I'm gonna go listen to comedy. And people have their favorite comedians. And when I look at a comedian, also there are a lot of comedians that are actors. They often movies. So to tie this in with the movies, um, once again, it just depends on that individual, their relationship with the Holy Spirit. Comedy to me, comedy is a beautiful thing. I'm just saying I love to laugh, but I'm cautious. A lot of people told me, JT, man, you missed your calling as a comedian. I say, no, I didn't. Because one thing we have to understand is that the Holy Spirit gave us a sense of humor. You don't think the Most High have a sense of humor? Well, he does. Laughter is good. But some of the stuff that we laugh at really ain't really funny. And then a lot of stuff we laugh at, it really is funny. And some of the stuff that we laughing at, we need to really be applying it to our lives. So it just depends on the comedian and what's coming out their mouth. Like I always say, comedy is not a bad thing, but it could be the spirit behind comedy. Same thing I say about music. Music is not bad, but the spirits behind music. You got demonic comedians. Are there some comedians out here that's just straight demonic? Yes. Are there musicians that's straight demonic? Yes. Are there pastors that's straight demonic? Yes. Church folks? Yes. It's all over. So everybody got to work out their own salvation with fear and trembling. So once again, yeah, there's comedians who don't care nothing about the word, the Holy Spirit. But when you see comedians on stage, look at athletes, look at rappers, hip hop artists. How many people get on stage, and that's why I want to use that stage back there, and say, I thank God. First of all, I'm giving honor all to God. God made this possible. But you gotta, with your discernment, spiritual discernment, you gotta realize which God are they talking about. Many people thank God, but which God are they thinking? Thanking, excuse me. So yeah, you can with spiritual discernment. See, the thing is, I hate to say this, but I gotta tell the truth, especially with Christianity. So many Christians make living for the Holy Spirit boring. Notice I didn't say all. To me, it's nothing boring about the Holy Spirit once you understand who and what the Holy Spirit is. When you understand that, it's not to me religion is what's boring. When you sit up and try to brainwash people looking at the Bible is only a set of rules, you don't see no fun. Yeah, the way they act, you don't even see the grace and the mercy. I'm not talking about all. See, once again, I love to laugh. Just like when people say, well, drinking is a sin. No, it ain't. Overindulge is a sin. Drinking and drinking and to stop drinking when you know where to stop versus drunkenness, that's two totally different things. Yeah, there are drunks out here, a whole lot of them. But then there's people who can have a glass of wine and they done. So when you take the Bible to try to apply it to different lifestyles and say this is wrong, this is right, rules for this, rules for that, you got to study to show yourself approved. Do I watch comedy? Yes. Do I watch movies? Yes. Because I know even with the comedy, movies, or whatever I watch, there's a message in it. I'm gonna take the meat and I'm gonna spit out the bones. Because the spirit of discernment is gonna tell me whether I can watch this or not. See, I don't get caught up with what everybody else tell me. You do what you do to maintain your relationship and how you stay connected to the Father, just as well as I'm gonna do. Man, brother, shout out to my baby brother Titus Taylor. We used to have this conversation all the time because Titus would ask me what do I think about this movie or what I think about Walt Disney, what I think about this, what I think about that. Same with music. I love brother Titus. Those are awesome questions because too many people sit up and let other people dictate what they gonna watch, what they gonna listen to, where they gonna go. You got to do that on your own because you may not like what I like. I might not like what you like. Like, excuse me, I'm my own man, and I'm not gonna let nobody justify to me what I like and what I don't like. Even me and my twin brother, we twins, but you'll see a difference with us. Different things. My twin brother don't try to make me do what he do, and I don't try to make him do what I do. None of my brothers. We all have that understanding. But it's too many controlling people. They want to run your life. I love when a comedian tells the truth. I love when I hear truth, I can hear it on this stage versus somebody's church stage. They don't want to talk about truth. See, one thing I like about a lot of comedians, they don't sugarcoat. They have that real talk, and they don't care how you take it. But once again, they are entertainers. They are entertaining you. Well, JT, that's why I don't like listening to comedians, man. They too entertaining. But a lot of y'all say that, but you go to church and listen to the entertaining pastor. You see the entertaining musicians, the entertaining praise team. When they came out with their show Sunday Best, how entertaining was that? You got judges up there judging you on the way you praise and sing, and somebody gonna win and somebody gonna lose. Where is that in the Bible? That's a competition. Where the world had what? American Idol. These different shows that come on. People are competing in the world and people are competing in the church. So don't talk to me about, oh man, them comedians, they just entertaining when your pastor up there entertaining you. And I ain't say all once again. Hooping and hollering pastor. Entertaining and feeding your emotions, not your soul. So yes, I've heard more truth in comedians than half of the pastors that I know. Even in the music. The churches are so quick. I ain't talking about all churches once again. I always have to make that point. Because I never put everybody in the same category. But you got churches and preachers, church folks and preachers that continue to bash what they doing in the world, but yet it's still most of your gospel artists keep hooking up with the world. Look at the gospel industry. It's a industry. Hip hop industry, gospel industry, rap industry. We all know what the industry is and what the industry does. And you keep combining it. Kurt Franklin said this years ago. Kurt said, I'm gonna change the game. I'm gonna take the gospel artists and the secular artists and I'm gonna put it together. Why you think he went got salt and pepper back in the day? Why you think Kurt danced just like they dance in the world? Why do you think what's going on with Kurt's mind? And once he get on stage, or if he being interviewed, look at what come out of his mouth. Because Kurt done got to a point now where he's gonna continue to compromise. That's why the world loves certain people in the gospel field. That's why the world they love certain pastors that won't stand and preach against sin, homosexuality. They fit right in with each other. But see, when D.L. Hughley started talking about the black church, he pissed off a lot of people. Because D.L. said what a lot of people was thinking, but they wouldn't say it. D.L. Hughley said the black church is one of the gayest places in the world. And when he talks about this stuff, people get offended. That's another thing. The word of the Holy Spirit is going to offend you, but a real talk from a comedian, it offends a lot of people. Some people in the crowd can't even take it sometimes because it's so offensive, because it's so real. Just like when D.L. Hughley was talking about homosexuality, he said you can take a DICK, but you can't take a joke. Think about that. You can take a DICK, but you can't take a joke. But then some pastor going, he shouldn't have said that. Yeah, pastor, you didn't want him to say that because you got one sitting on your organ in church. That's the minister of music. You got one over your praise team. So once again, I love the realness from a comedian. I love the realness from a real pastor. What I've learned in my life is to have balance. Can't nobody, I'm talking about absolutely nobody but the Holy Spirit tell me what I'm going to listen to and what I'm going to watch. That's my spiritual discernment. Bernie Mac to me was one of the realest to ever do it. Man, Brandon Mack talk too bad. Man, you don't, come on, y'all. Here's the thing. I'm getting so sick of this mess with these hypocrites. You don't think Christians cuss? Christians smoke weed? Christians whore around? Christians have unprotected sex? So stop making it look like a one-sided story that it's just the world. Boy, a Christian will cuss you out harder than some of the comedians. A Christian will smoke you out. There's some Christians I know that'll give Snoop Dogg a run for his money smoking weed. But like I say, everybody need help. I don't try to make nobody look better. That's why when I talk about what's going on in the church, I talk about the same thing in the world. And a lot of people hate that. Man, don't be talking about comedians. Don't be using that for an example. Man, that's the world, man. That's the world. What you think the church look like? Paul addresses the world too. Jesus checked the ones in the world. Because this is what we live in. We are in it, but not of it. How can you not talk about the world? It's in the Bible. So it's just the problem that people have with me, and of course I'm not talking about everybody, not close after this. The problem a lot of people have with me is the topics that I discuss. Because I'm gonna discuss stuff that your pastor won't talk about. Some pastors will. But see, I be striking a nerve. Pay forward. Check out my email I just sent back to you. And I apologize for getting back so late. But check out that email. And what I'm saying in this video, you'll really feel it because I wrote back to you in that email. I love your email, man. That's why I wanted to explain to you what happened with that mess you was watching from. You know who I'm talking about. It's all love. That's why I told you in the email, brother, my topics hit a nerve with him and his people. Because real talk, when you're talking about something that somebody has went through and they haven't overcame it yet, they still let it bother them, of course they're gonna have a problem with you. But then there's some that can be like, bro, just cut me with it. Tell me the truth. But everybody don't want to hear the truth. And that's why I said last night, the Bible is gonna either make you run or you're gonna accept it. You're gonna accept it or you're gonna reject it. And that's my thoughts, man. Yes, there's a lot of wicked comedians, athletes, movie stars, celebrities. I mean, you name it. There's wickedness in all these categories. But I wouldn't dare say all comedians are wicked. I wouldn't dare say all comedians are going to hell. I wouldn't dare say all pastors are going to hell. I would never say all because, first of all, I'm not the all. I'm not the Almighty. That's his judgment. That's his decision, not mine. And you'll be shocked who you see in heaven. And you'll be shocked who you don't see. And you're going to be shocked you made it in. And I yell on that. Thank y'all for tuning in once again. This is your boy JT, and I love you, and I'm out. Y'all continue to have a wonderful, 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 blessed day. Don't let nobody steal your joy. Shalom.